Capture your entire year or next 12 months in one calendar, and this layout will make planning for business and life so simple, and it's going to allow you to keep the balance. All right. So today I am showing you how I use rolling quarters calendar. This is to balance my business and my personal life and how you can use it too. I'm even going to share a free template later on in the video, which will make this super quick for you to just implement. All right. So let's break down how simple yet how powerful this tool is and how it can take your scheduling from overwhelming to simple. It's going to blend all the busyness when it comes to being a solopreneur plus life and actually make it so the two not only work together, but it makes it all fun again. All right, today I am introducing you to the Rolling Quarters Calendar. This is a tool to view your important commitments, both business and personal, like I mentioned, over the upcoming 12 months. All right. First, you've got to set up your template. And honestly, this is the hardest part, but I have one that you can download and it's free. And then just fill in your commitments. Okay. I'm going to drop the link to that below this description if you want to grab it. All right, let's jump over to my computer. It'll be a whole lot easier to grasp the whole concept, right? If I can show you rather than just tell you. All right, let's jump over to my computer now. Okay, so I've got my notes over here on my other screen. So if I'm looking off to the side, I don't want you to think that I'm like distracted. All right. Anyway, so what I want to do, I've got pulled up here in front of me my rolling quarters template. And like I mentioned, even if you decide to download the free template that I have created for you, I want it to go ahead and give you the steps. And that's what I'm going to do now and then kind of show you. So I'm doing this for two reasons. One, like if you want to do this yourself, you want to create your own from scratch, you can obviously do that. But also, over time, you can see I've got this opened up to 2025. If you look down here on the bottom, the tabs across the bottom, there's 2024 here and then 2025. But at the time of this recording, we are almost, well, I guess we're in December of 2025, and so really close. And so what I wanted to do was make sure I show you how, depending on when you're watching this recording, you can see how to continue to add and what to do. All right. So I am going to walk you through the steps. One thing I want to point out in the blue highlights, these are US holidays that my family and I celebrate. Okay. So I've just filled in just because you've got to assume something, right? So I'm going to assume or just use as an example, US holidays that my family celebrates. If yours are different, maybe there's some you don't want on here, some you want to add in, or yours is, you're in a different country, or maybe you just like, maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, maybe you don't celebrate Valentine's Day or Halloween or whatever, then you can fill in accordingly. Okay. I did not fill in like, days that the banks are closed for like government holidays and things like that, because that's not what I use this particular part of the calendar for. There are times I do look at that and consider it, especially like for maybe a launch or, you're introducing something new, or like if we're planning to travel, sometimes we'll take those things into consideration. Excuse me. So there may be times you want to add those things in as well, but you can do that if you want to. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to open Google Drive and then you're going to click to create a new sheet. All right, so I'll show you up here. You're going to go to Google Drive. I'll just go to my Google Drive. And once you have that opened, then you're going to click up here in the left-hand corner where it says new, and then you're going to click on sheet and you're just going to click on that. All right, so once you do that, it's going to give you what you're seeing here. Then what you're going to do is over here in row 1, okay, you see the row 1 across here, you are going to fill in the word date, okay, and then you can do the same for, and then column A, all right, and then you're going to go all the way down 1 through 31. You're just going to fill that in. And then you see row 2, you're going to put in the date, the month, But then do you see here, you're going to have day again on row D because this is for February, because obviously the 1st of January is on a Wednesday, and this is for 2025. But for instance, in February, right here, February, that is a Saturday, okay? March is a Saturday, but then you see April is a Tuesday. So I'm not going to go through all this. That kind of is kind of common sense, but I want you to understand the columns and what you're doing. So basically what you're doing is you're setting up your quarter one, which is this, let's see if I can do this without messing it up. It's all of this right here is quarter one, okay? And then the next one over is all of this is quarter two, and so on. And then you've got quarter three and quarter four. All right. So you're going to do that. You're going to go through and you're going to fill in the date, which is 1 through 31, because you can see, for instance, February only has 28 days. So these are blank because Friday is the last day of February, but then we start Saturday for March 1st up here. All right. So very simple, just straightforward calendar, except it's just a different layout than you're normally probably used to. This down here in the corner, I'm not going to really talk a whole lot about today, but what this is anything that you're going to, like if you're going to do any master classes, the ELM stands for master classes, any workshops or any launches, then you could go through and you could fill those in accordingly. And again, the quarter is the one right there. We've got one for each month. Then you've got the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. So these type of things, your master classes, your workshops, your launches that you're doing in your business, those things you're going to put on the calendar, all right? But what I like to do is I like to also designate them down below. Sometimes that just kind of is a little extra detail that I like to do. All right, so once you get all of this filled in, and I like to fill in, like I say, the holidays, and then I come up here to this little fill-in color, and I just fill in with a highlight. That's how you highlight the background, is the little bucket that has a, more or less a bucket there, and then you pick the color of paint that you want in the bucket, all right? And you put that in, and that's how you do that. So once you get that, as you can see with my template, I find it very helpful to kind of vary the color of the different columns, but then I also like to highlight. So once you have your template, what you're going to want to do next is you are going to want to, you are going to want to block out the personal and non-negotiables. Obviously, that's holidays you celebrate, that's birthdays, anniversaries, scheduled vacation time. So I literally go through on this calendar and I fill in everything that is like a non-negotiable. Our family is going to celebrate those things, obviously, as long as everyone's feeling okay. Things that we're going to do, more or less, it's like I'm blocking off times that I'm like, we aren't going to work here or at this time. I'm not saying we don't work Valentine's Day, but I have found that most of the country, and I learned this back when I was a teacher, if you've got kids in school, Valentine's Day is a big deal. If you work, when I worked at the bank, it was a big deal. Our business was not as busy on Valentine's Day. It's just like people just kind of it just changes. They use that day to celebrate. So I like to take that into consideration when I'm making plans for my business. So these are dates that I have found that I want to take into consideration for my business, but then also days that are non-negotiable, I'm not going to work. So once you have those things scheduled out, this is going to ensure you never overbook yourself, okay? And you always have that time reserved for what truly matters, all right? And that business is still being taken care of because you're going to fill it in accordingly. So if you see that, like over here, in December, for example, I see that, okay, I've got basically from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve, there's not much time in there. Well, that's kind of common sense. But you know what I found? I found that sometimes people, we forget little things, like maybe we have a doctor's appointment. Not that you're going to put that kind of thing on here, but it's an example of you've got things going on that you want to make sure that, you plan accordingly. So, all right. I like to also, do anything in blue. I color code. So if it's blue, that means that it's family related. All right. I go through, we celebrate all, or not celebrate, but we have company over and we take the day off for all the Texas Tech football games, which are in the fall. And I go through on my personal calendar, I fill in those dates as soon as that football schedule is available, and I highlight those in red because our colors for Texas Tech are red and black. So I'll highlight those in red, and I know that, okay, these are dates, going on. And here's the thing, like this past Saturday, we didn't have a game. And so, because it was open, I knew that that was a Saturday that was open that I could use for other things. Okay. So I like to go through and I like to fill all those things in. Um, then what I want to do, and I want to encourage you to do this, is incorporate your key commitments for business. All right. What are your key commitments? Do you have a day each week where you publish a YouTube? Maybe it's a blog post, or maybe you go live on social media. Whenever and whatever your main piece of value-driven content is, then as a side note, this is an extra tip, I'll just say this. If you don't have that, like you're only using social media as an example, please consider changing that. Okay, please consider. That's not what this video is about. So I'm obviously not going to go into all the detail. I'll just leave it at that. But I just want to encourage you to please make sure that you're not just trying to grow your business on social media. All right, next, fill in any promotions or special sales you might consider over the next 12 months. Okay, an example would be, as an example, let's say you want to fill in Black Friday, here, and then let's say you want to fill in Cyber Monday, okay? That would be an example. All right, now I want to say this. There is a video coming, all right, that is going to be all about sales and promotions, and I'll make sure that we link to that in the notes below this video as soon as it's available. It's being recorded after this video, but not immediately after, but it's within this series. So as soon as it's available, I'll make sure it gets added to the notes below this video. And we'll go into more details about that. So we're not going to talk all about sales and promotions here, but I want to make sure that you're thinking, okay, I've got all of my personal stuff filled in, holidays, family commitments, vacations, things that are like on the calendar, they're already there. All right. Now, if you don't have a vacation that's already booked, you can use this when you go to try to schedule your next vacation. You pull it up, you go, hey, you know what? I need to see where are some open spaces that would make sense for us to travel. Okay. There, we're not going to be missing anyone's birthday. Let's say that it's your mom's birthday and you don't want to be out of town for your mother's birthday, as an example, then you could certainly, fill that in or whatever it is for you. So do that. All right, but let's get back to business. So you've got Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Maybe you do flash sales. Maybe you want to do a flash sale. You know that you do a flash sale once a quarter, and you know when those are. Then this would be something you could fill those in. So can you see how this is going to ensure that each area receives dedicated attention without overwhelming your schedule? Like you're going to have the full 12-month picture. And what I like to do, I like to make sure that like at the end of each quarter, like for instance, when let's go back over to the 2024. So at the end of like within December of 2024, that I made sure I added, okay, a quarter. I wanted to make sure that I added at least one quarter. Personally, I'll usually go ahead and do the whole year at a time and just fill in the basic stuff so that I've always got that there. And so makes it super simple to do that. And I like to set aside a time though at the start of each quarter and update and adjust, which is always necessary. None of this stuff is set in stone other than things like Christmas or, whatever. But there's certain things you can't control the date of, but there's things that you can. And so you can come back in and you can customize and move the things around where you need to within your business. Okay, so, today we have explored how the rolling quarters calendar can be your ultimate guide to viewing an entire year at a glance. All right. This balances not only your personal and professional commitments, right? But it's going to help you take control of the calendar. It's going to help set yourself up for success. And this is going to ensure that every commitment, all right, every commitment, big or small, is going, that's accounted for, can be very strategically planned. All right. So what I want to do, I want to encourage, I want to keep this momentum going. All right. So there's going to be a video that pops up here on your screen, and it should be popping up. Just if it's not there yet, it's coming. All right. And it's to learn more about optimizing your business calendars and increasing your productivity. And this will open up more time away from your business while increasing your income. So I want to encourage you to watch that video next.